Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Inclusive You, where we cover all things inclusivity. I am Dr. Aikyna Finch, and today my guest is Dr. Bethanie Hansen, and she's going to be talking to us about DIOM and the importance of it in the classroom and in your life. So, Bethanie, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're so passionate about DIOM.
Well, hi there, Dr. Finch. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast today. I'm excited, of course, to talk about developing and implementing the outward mindset. That's what we also refer to as DIOM. This is a 2-day workshop specifically. The outward mindset itself is kind of the philosophy behind it. So, whenever we're referring to DIOM, we're talking about that specific workshop. And whenever we talk about the outward mindset, we're just talking about applying it, using it, thinking in a certain way, basically. And I want to just say this line of thinking and this workshop and all the ideas that go with it, they just have to do with relating to other people at work and in life. And it was about, I want to say it was 2018 when Dr. Vernon Smith, our provost, had a 4-hour training for leaders at the deans and directors meeting. And it was hosted by the Arbinger Institute, who puts out this material. And after that 4 hours, I thought, wow, this is for me. I need more. I need more tools. I need more information. I really loved it. But I also, as you experience this material, you kind of learn the terms. I also saw that many times I would be in the box and really want to see more clearly, treat people differently, approach things differently. I've seen it apply everywhere in my life. So that 4-hour training really lit a fire for me, and I pursued it. I went and took the full 2-day DIOM in Salt Lake City, Utah. No, it was in Farmington, Utah. And then I went back and participated in their 3-day training for facilitators. And they also have an outward leadership. And I participated in that later, and the facilitator training for that as well. And then went to their summer meeting and just really kept pursuing this so I could learn more about it, try to live it myself the best I could, and also share it with other people. And if you talk to anyone who's really familiar with the outward mindset, they would say, well, how's your journey? Because no one's expecting that you're going to always be thinking outward mindset or living outward mindset. It's just a direction, to be turning in a direction towards seeing other people and seeing things differently, a little more clearly, and treating them like people, pretty much. So yeah, that's my brief story about how I was introduced and the journey I've been on learning this material. And I do love it. I realize not everyone loves it, and that's okay, but it's one of many tools that is extremely helpful for helping us work together.
And you just mentioned working together and being on a journey. And that is amazing because that is something that we can think about for our students. Our students are on a journey, and we are part of that journey, and how we communicate with them and how we bond with them and how we lift them up to their greater is going to help in their journey process. And so our mindset is a direction in order to make that happen. And so let's talk about what they can use, how they can use DIOM in their classroom, and what is that major effect?
Well, the first part of what you asked, how they could use it in the classroom, is to see students just slightly differently than we already do. We see them, we know they're there, we know they care about their education, or they wouldn't be in the classroom. But sometimes it's easy to get lost in the routines and habits of online teaching, right? And I'm going to just tell a little story in here. When I was trained to be an educator, I went through elementary and secondary education training in my university to become a music teacher, K through 12, and adults and preschool. So it included all age groups. It was widely discussed that you should make friends with the cafeteria lady and the school secretary. Those two people were going to make your job easier because whatever lunches you need for the band kids, buses you need for the band kids, they're going to facilitate that for you. So you need to, quote, grease the wheels by bringing them treats, being nice to them, and treating them like you like them so that they will do what you want. And at the time, I completely bought into that and thought, great. And I would bring cookies to these people and I would celebrate their birthdays and all those things. And it never occurred to me at the time that I didn't know much about them. Like I was doing things to make sure that everything was working effectively, but I wasn't really seeing the people behind the jobs. I wasn't learning, like, did they even like cookies? Did they want cookies? This was just advice that mentors gave me, professors gave me, and I wasn't necessarily trying to use these people. I was trying to be nice to them, but there's more to seeing people as human beings, right? Like we get to know what they care about, what they actually need. We see them in a more complete way instead of just the ways we interact with them and what we think we need to do and then get back out of there. So if we were to apply that in the online classroom, that would look like learning what's really unique about those students and why they specifically are in that class. For example, some of them, they come because they want the credit and they want to leave quickly because they didn't necessarily choose that class and they're not excited about it. There are other students who really want to master that content, and then there are yet others with different goals. Every time we learn about someone's goals, it's incredibly useful because we can make sure that we help them meet their goals while we're meeting ours, right? So if we need to grade quickly and all of these things, but we're teaching, say, a writing class, and the student has expressed they're really nervous about writing, they really want to learn it, then we can make sure we're giving the kind of feedback that really does teach them instead of just checking a few things and moving on. We cannot be amazingly perfect with everyone, right? We would exhaust ourselves if we're just satisfying everyone else's objectives all the time. But we can meet our objectives easier when we take theirs into consideration and do what we can. So whenever we can do that, our teaching is going to be a little bit more joyful, honestly, and enjoyable. And we're also going to be able to help people reach their goals in a way that maybe we haven't noticed before. Something else might occur to us that we could try. I also want to just share that sometimes as a faculty director, now I'm a department chair, but in that role previously, I would get occasionally a student complaint. And most of the time, the student complaint would be something pretty angry about how the faculty member responded. It wasn't the answer, it was the tone of the answer. And usually it was something curt, brief, abrupt, something like that. And I can't be certain, but I kind of think that in such cases, a student may have felt like they were being dismissed, treated like an object. And we can kind of sense it when people are treating us that way, right? We don't always notice when we're treating others that way. So if we're thinking about some of the tools that the Outward Mindset program brings, and we just try them out, sometimes it can just help us be more aware and try things we might otherwise forget or not be thinking about. So I think it ups the game just a little bit for us, and it gives us some structure to do so without exhausting ourselves.
I know that the university is going to be offering these classes facilitated by yourself soon. And what would a person get out of those classes, this 2-day workshop?
Oh, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. Excuse me. The first thing is the person's going to get a basic foundation of what the mindset is all about. Whatever we're thinking, that's going to drive our emotions, our behaviors, our outcomes. So if we assume things and we just kind of keep going the way we always have been going, we're going to get the same kind of results we've always been getting. And if we want different results or a different outcome, we have to change what we think about it. So it's an invitation to try something new It's not a forced thing. You don't have to do it. It's an invitation to try. And it's a stellar training. A lot of great materials and tools, and a couple of books that come with that you can read and enjoy. You'll learn about why mindset matters, what the two mindsets are, inward mindset and outward mindset, how it happens that we do turn inward at times, and how to turn outward. And some of those things are different tools that we can use throughout our work, throughout our life, to just recognize, to apply, and also to experiment with these ideas and see what happens. And I'll just tell you, it's a very interactive workshop. So I've had people tell me in the past here at APUS that have taken this workshop that we should let participants know there's a lot of talking, like you're going to be talking a lot. So if you think it's going to be a webinar where you're silently sitting and just watching and kind of soaking it in, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to do a lot of talking. And if that gives you a lot of fatigue, if you're used to working behind a screen at home all day, being an online educator, an online worker, you want to prepare yourself for that mentally, because it can be tiring, right? To talk all day long. But you don't remember things that you don't really discuss or apply, right? That's our whole adult learning theory, andragogy, that we're applying there. So the more you have a chance to talk about it and explore it, the more you can decide, do you want to use the tools? If you're going to apply them, how are you going to apply them? And again, it's an invitation to try things out. It's not by any means a demand that you have to buy into these ideas. I think you're going to find that it's kind of fun and interesting at the same time. We're also on video. We use Zoom for the workshop. So you'll be on camera and you just want to be aware. And then we have a lunch break, and it's 2 full days. So you want to make sure your calendar's not super demanding on those 2 days so that you have the space. Then you're going to leave with a lot of tools, the 2 books you can read, and a participant packet that's got the frameworks and the ideas so you can take it on into the future. I'm pretty sure that participants also get an online component after the workshop if they want to watch the videos or see additional materials to enrich their learning. So they don't just give us the 2-day materials. There's something extended that you can also take a look at. I think it's a lot of fun. I really highly recommend it. And I consider myself just a fellow learner on this journey. I think it's a lifelong pursuit to learn some of these strategies. You'll find very similar ideas in other places like servant leadership. I can't remember what the other one was we were talking about earlier, Aikyna, but there are many ways to get to the same kind of thinking. You'll find similarities when you attend this workshop to many things you may have been exposed to in the past. And in that way, it gels nicely with a lot of different schools of thought.
And I know that a lot of people are excited by that explanation because, I'm excited. I'm ready to take the class myself. And so, I am definitely a lover of anything in the coaching family and the mindset situation. So I am looking forward to it for sure. And to the listeners today, I want to say, Bethanie just gave you an invitation to try a new approach to enhance the journey between you and your students in your learning environment. When the original isn't working, there's always time to try the remix. So here's an invitation to the remix. So until next time, be you, be true, and always be inclusive you.